Hey guys, I'm here with Charles Kirkland, and he runs MediaBuyerAssociation.com. Charles, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going today?
I'm doing well. So you were telling me, because number
Yeah,
one, so let's talk about webinars. Everybody knows webinars are probably the most effective way to not only scale your business, but to have people know, like, and trust you, and they have to spend an hour with you and all that. But you were talking about, like, the lazy way that most people are doing it is they run a Facebook ad to an on-demand webinar, which means they can watch your audience can watch it right away. And you're saying that through your testing of putting about more than 10,000 people through your webinar, that's not a good idea.
absolutely. We put and I'm not looking at the numbers exactly, but it's over 11,000 people. And initially, I was thinking we've been doing a lot of split testing with this. I see other people do it, so therefore I want to do it. Monkey see, monkey do. We've been doing a lot of these webinars where it's like, the webinar, you land on the page, there's a countdown timer, it starts in 1 hour, and pretty much you either sign up for the webinar or you leave. While that's a pretty good idea, unfortunately, we do get higher opt-ins like that, but they're really not in the mood, they're not in a state. They probably have about 99 other things they plan to do with their next 1 hour versus sitting down with you. So when they do watch, it's almost out of a pure scarcity mindset. To them, the webinars, it's happening in an hour. They move everything they've got or happening in 15 minutes, however you like to look at it. And unfortunately, we find coercing those users into basically giving us the time right then and there. It really creates a negative experience. They don't buy nearly as often. We're finding we're doing better with the webinars that are pretty much on demand. So you come to the page, there's no countdown timer, there's no fake scarcity. There's nothing there that says you have to watch it today. We're finding that people that do watch those on-demand webinars, which are basically a opt-in page with a video, literally a video replay, those people are actually worth about 35 to 40%. I'm not in front of the computer, so I don't have like all those numbers to look at, but they're worth a whole lot more money over the course of a year. And we started talking to the users who basically opted in for an on-demand replay. And one of the questions was, why did you opt in? And I could opt in, I could watch it at my leisure, when I could do it. We find these customers are typically much more sophisticated. They're usually a much higher quality buyer than the buyer that says, oh my gosh, I have 1 hour to watch it and I've got to watch it.
So oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So what we're finding is really, and another example of this is the on-demand works great, or if you sign up and you get to watch it in the future. We find that, like, when you're sitting here, you can schedule it tomorrow, the next day, and you've got like a time that you can schedule. Those are working much better.
Right. And then basically you would follow up with them accordingly with some type of indoctrination of here's why, not just like an email that says, hey, your webinar is tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow, but some type of here's why you would want to attend.
Yes. We're selling them on why they should attend. And one of the things that we found is people really don't want to attend your webinar. They want the benefit from it. And we have to sell as hard to get them on the webinar as we do in the webinar.
Exactly. And that's a great point. And most people, they don't do that. They're just saying like, well, they got the reminder email, so they all have a 50% show up rate.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where people are at. And it's like, well, I signed up for the webinar. Everything else, your prospects need to be literally sold on why they need to attend. Once they attend, we need to sell them on the replay. And it's really a case of, as consumers, we're busier than ever. And when you're forcing that prospect to watch it 1 hour from now or 15 minutes from now, most likely they haven't, there's no indoctrination. They don't really necessarily know you. And I think, and this was to a cold audience. I should state that. If the audience knew you, there may be a different experience. But we were going out to people that we knew for a fact probably had no clue who we were, in any way, shape, or form. And what we found out is that the user that watches an on-demand webinar with no fake countdowns, no crazy. It's closing in 30 seconds, and please give us your Visa, MasterCard, American Express. Those are the people that will pick up a phone, and when they call you from an inbound lead standpoint, they're already pre-qualified. They're usually going, I have a few questions, and let's ready to close.
Right. So at the end of the webinar, you would say, hey, if you do have questions about this, text my office or call my office, or they would contact you via your customer support. Is that how you would talk to them?
Absolutely. And what we found out is that's working so much better than where there are 3 other people, there are only 3 spots available this week, and you need to be one of the 3. When you're forcing that user to take those actions, you are getting the action, but that action doesn't lead to the sale, and the sale isn't as high as, hey, can you help me? Mm-hmm. It's a totally different mindset. And we're finding out the users who are very high end, they quite often get turned off by the watch the webinar right now because everything else in the world is on hold.
And I think that's a great point because it's just not needed. I mean, there is time for scarcity and a countdown sequence after they've gone through your whole promotion. So like, let's say in a perfect world, they watch the webinar, they don't buy, you put them into some other training and then repitch them. They still haven't bought. Then I would think, okay, now it's appropriate to put them into, hey, you're not going to be able to get this $2,000 thing after Friday, right? So you'd put them into a week-long follow-up sequence with a countdown at the end. I think that's appropriate, but you don't have to be like, oh, if you don't buy in 24 hours, like it's going away. I don't think that is needed unless it's a special circumstance of like you never do a sale and it's only 24 hours, I do think scarcity works, but you can't, bludgeon your list to death with it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think one of the bigger issues when you're using that type of scarcity, it may work the first time, but it will not work the second time.
Exactly. Like if I signed up for your, like how to do media buying in 2016 without like losing your shirt, and then like next week you put me through the same sort of launch model with another product, after a while I'd be like, well, I know what Charles is going to do, so it's just not needed.
And I think at the end of the day, we spend so much money on getting those leads. The minute we hurt our credibility, it just creates chaos for everything else.
Well, so Charles, where can they sign up for your latest webinar?
Actually head over to MediaBuyerAssociation.com. We're split testing as usual. We're split testing. You may see on demand, or you may see one that has a countdown timer that happens in an hour. With that, we're always trying to split test, and I'm always looking at what is the ROI of any prospect over a length of time. I think so many marketers make the mistake of, I ran a campaign today, I got 100 leads, they didn't buy, so inherently this is bad. We've got to start looking at this from a long term. What are these people worth in the long run?
Mm-hmm. So MediaBuyerAssociation.com.
Yes.
All right, guys. If you have any comments or anything like that, you'll find this video across the internet. And thank you so much, Charles.
Have a good one. Talk to you later.